Bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. Woo! Bring 'em out, bring 'em out.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Josh's Sports Corner. I'm joined by my partner in crime, Andrew Rogowski. He's going to help me out with the interview today. And we got a very special guest this week, NFL linebacker Donald Payne. Let's give it up for Donald. What's up, Donald?
What up, boys? Chilling.
How you doing, man? So a little backstory. Donald, we played college football with Donald at Stetson. Donald has played 3 seasons with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he is currently rehabbing. So we have a good interview in store for you guys this week. So first question, Donald, when you played high school football, because you're from Atlanta, Georgia, when did you know that your football career could be something special and something serious?
Probably going into my senior year. Before then, I was always I always grew, let me say this, I always grew, shorter than everybody else. I was always shorter than everybody else. I didn't have that much weight on me. And then 9th grade, I played JV. In 10th grade, I broke out and I started playing varsity, but I was still small in stature, one of the smallest dudes on the field. And then my junior year, going to my senior year, I had a great growth spurt during that summer workouts and summer program. And then that's where things took off and, colleges started calling. And going into that senior year, everybody I played with in that senior year, we had won the middle school championship, and everybody was in that same class, were seniors in high school. So we all worked hard that whole summer. We all was working our butts off that whole summer, and then came along. We made it to the state championship game and played in the Georgia Dome. We ended up losing to Savannah Christian, but it was definitely a great experience. And but my junior year going to my senior year was probably, the biggest jump in my football career, I would say.
So then you had Stetson that you committed to, obviously. Were there any other schools that you were looking at, or was Stetson really the only one?
There were a couple of HBCUs, historically black colleges, that offered me and wanted me to come, but my mom didn't want me to take that route. And Stetson happened to be the only D1 school that offered me, which was, to me, honestly, was crazy. We made it to the state championship game, had some of the best stats in the state at my position, being a safety and a running back. But it happens like that sometimes. So I just took the best offer that came to me. And Coach Hughes walked into my high school. You know how Coach Hughes looked, tall, skinny, looks like, could be a professor, something like that. And he says, "You want to come play football at Stetson?" I said, "Well, first of all, what's Stetson? I never heard that in my life."
Right.
And it was just crazy because we always talk about it. All the boys that came in that year with me and graduated in 2016, that, they didn't even have a football program. So we were kind of coming out on a limb, to getting recruited there. We knew our whole first year there we'd been redshirted. So it was a crazy experience, but still is the best decision I ever made in my life. Got friends for life that created at Stetson, but at the same time I was kind of disappointed. Every kid wants to go to LSU, Louisville,
right,
and maybe a small D1 schools, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, and here I am. The only scholarship I was offered was a non-scholarship school.
Right.
It was definitely different, but definitely the best decision I made.
Go ahead, Drew.
And so when you were coming in, you said you played running back and safety in high school.
Right.
When you were coming in, to Stetson, were you thinking about, I want to play safety, or I want to play running back, or Coach Young kind of see you and put you on defense, and that he had something special like a dog for you?
It's crazy because Coach Hughes was my recruiting coordinator, and Coach Young, he didn't know anything about me other than, he played in the state championship game in Georgia, and Coach Young's from Georgia. That's all Coach Young knew. So, on a recruiting visit, we went to a baseball game, and Coach Young said, "Oh, you thinking about coming here?" I said, "Yes, sir, I am." I was behind the curve. I didn't sign on signing day, so I went on my visit April 15th. So, signing day is February 1st. So it's been a whole 2 months, and I still haven't signed anywhere. I'm thinking I'm getting a bigger offer, and no bigger offers are coming. I got to sign to go play football somewhere. So I'm sitting in at the baseball game, and Coach Young said, "Hey, pull up your highlights real quick." So I'm on my little bitty phone like this, and Coach Young can barely see, so he's squinting, and I just showing him my highlights on the phone. He was like, "Oh yeah, we got to get you. Oh yeah, we got to get you. We got to get you signed right now." And that's literally how Coach Young said, "Hey, I want you to come here and play dog safety for me." Exactly how it happened.
So you come to Stetson, and that first year, there's no games being played. It's just practices. And
Correct.
from what we heard that was just brutal. But do you think that kind of made you have a different mentality going into college football that other college football players didn't have? Because you guys weren't playing any games. It was just kind of go hard or don't do anything else.
For sure. It's probably everybody can say they can't play college football, but even you guys didn't even experience this. It probably was the craziest thing like I've ever been a part of. We had 120 freshmen come in. 120 freshmen come in the fall of 2012. And just imagine how 120 freshmen knew the College Act. It was crazy, practice. So we would practice Monday through Friday, and then we would have a scrimmage on Saturday, like we were playing a game. And we did that for 12 weeks straight. With 12 weeks straight, it was hell, but it's crazy because all the people that made it through and made it to actually playing real games, you have that more of a connection with them. So we came in with 120 freshmen in fall of 2012, and only 8 made it all the way through and graduated in 2016 and played all 4 years. Only 8 people.
Yeah, that's
So,
crazy.
it was a crazy experience. I've seen so many people come in and out of that program just because it's a startup, but I think Coach Hughes and Coach Young and did a great job in like molding it. But it was definitely the craziest adventure ever. Just imagine 120 freshmen. There was a great show that was popular during that time, Blue Mountain State.
Yeah.
It was very popular during my freshman year. So every freshman football player coming in swore that college is supposed to be like Blue Mountain State. And so guess what? We came in every practice. People would come into practice hungover, and people would come into practice, messed up from the night before, because at the end of the day, we don't have any real games. Like I'm gonna be hitting the same person I'm hitting Monday through Friday on Saturday. So guess what? People came to practice drunk. People came to practice, hungover and didn't care. But guess Coach Hughes and Coach Young ran it out of us every day.
Right.
So it didn't matter.
For sure. Sure, you got one?
So I know, so I mean, coming in, or at least my freshman year, redshirt junior year, and leader on the team, just coming in, were you able to establish yourself as a lead of the team that freshman year you had out of the 120? Was it you? Could you kind of tell who was going to rise to the top and who was going to be able to kind of lead the team, or was it still just up for grabs? Because I mean, like you said,
it definitely. Well, that was Coach Hughes and Coach Young's selling point. Basically, all the seniors coming to Stetson was the freshmen coming to Stetson because we had nobody to compete with. So, at other bigger schools or any other school, you coming in, it's going to be a seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen. But in our case, basically for our recruiting class, I think we had a lot of great players in my recruiting class specifically because, hey, you can come in, you can start all 4 years. You don't have to back anybody up. You can be a captain for all 4 years. You don't have to back anybody up. You can come in, have all the stats. You can do everything from the very beginning. I think that was a big thing for me, being able to come in and play all 4 years and get as much tape and film out there that I could, and like actually be able to lead something. So I think you could tell after about 2 to 3 months who really wanted it and who didn't. The first month in college, everybody's crazy, everybody's acting up. Like I said, we didn't have any games, but towards 3 months in, you knew who was going to take the lead and who was going to be, who was going to be there to stay, type thing. So, and it just happened to be, I definitely don't think I became a good leader until my junior or senior year of college. I definitely was more of a don't look at what I do or how I act, but just look at how I play type person. I wouldn't talk much. I wouldn't lead much. I was just, hey, I'm going out there and I'm a ball, and that was it. And then gradually, you get that leadership role. Nobody comes in the freshman year and is going to, lead perfectly, So,
Right.
yeah, but it was definitely a crazy experience. But like I said, wouldn't change it for the world. And, I kind of wish that some people, when I tell them about my story, I wish they could just see the videos, because Coach Hughes deleted a lot of film from that year. He didn't tell y'all that. He deleted a lot of film from that year because it was just crazy all over. And so, but I wish some people could see it because it was definitely an experience to, behold forever.
So was the goal, like when you came in and you're like, okay, wow, we're not even playing any games. Was the goal still like NFL? Like, was your thought of the NFL still there, or when did that kind of come around?
The NFL didn't come up until after my sophomore season. So NFL, going in freshman year, And I knew I wasn't having any games. NFL, I don't care. It's
Right.
about, learning about college life, learning about girls, learning about booze, learning about anything. That's what everybody's mindset going in, because like I said, you had nobody to lead. It was no senior or junior to tell you, hey, this is not how you do things. Hey, there was nobody on campus saying this is what you do, this is not what you do, other than the coaches. You take things better from your peers than you do from old heads. So it was none of that NFL stuff actually hit my head. Even after my freshman year, defensive freshman of the year, I didn't think about NFL. It was not until after my junior year, and that's when I started thinking, okay. And Coach Young sat me down, and Coach Hughes sat me down. Hey, you're not that good of a leader. You're a great player. You're not that good of a leader. When the scouts come in, we're going to tell them you're not a good leader. That you just play well. Really, Coach Hughes said something along those lines to my face, and that's why my junior year and my senior year, I've started, sitting down more, coming in the playbook, looking at playbook, coming to watch film, because we had a lot smaller school, and so the competition at LSU is definitely different than competition, in the Pioneer League. So, but NFL definitely didn't come around in my mind freshman year at all.
Did that shake you up when he told you that, or were you like, wow, I got to get in shape if I want to go to the NFL and make this for real?
Oh yeah, for real. Oh, definitely. At the same time, sometimes when you hear stuff from, coaches, you think, they just blowing smoke. They just blowing smoke, he hating, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I know what Coach Hughes' heart from, and, at the end of the day, it looks good that, I was able to make it to the NFL. He was able to mold me into the player I am today, him and Coach Young. So, it's kind of a blessing, a blessing in disguise. Of course, you don't want to hear – it sucks to hear the hard truth sometimes, that, hey, you're a great player, but a great player can only get you so far, So
Right.
There was definitely steps I had to take in order to make it to this level.
So in your 4 years of play, you were a 3-time All-American. You had all these accolades. You finished 3rd leading tackler in FCS and FBS. And then after the season, you had your pro day. Andrew, I think you had a question about his pro day, right? It was at Bethune, right, Donald?
Correct.
Yeah, definitely. So, I was just thinking this year watching the draft, it was kind of, I was wondering, these smaller school kids kind of didn't see them get picked up as much. I was thinking, you had the opportunity to go to Bethune and show your talents there, and scouts could see that. And, with the whole coronavirus thing going on, I was kind of thinking it's a bummer for kids, someone like you who couldn't go to Bethune and couldn't put on their talent and show these guys, they can play at this high level. So how important was being able to go to Bethune and kind of show off your skills? Because, we knew it on the team that you had it, and the PFL knew you had it, but I think, to show these scouts that you had it was super important.
Yeah, that was probably mine is my first NFL game, mine is my first NFL start, which was this year. That might have been the most, pressurized situation I've been in a long time. Like the pressure's on me at this point, all the awards, all the things, they're great. Guess what? Your numbers, your numbers at LSU and the numbers here are the same. Running 40 is the same time, bench press, same time. Your footwork, it's going to be the same. So it was, like I said, mine is my first start in the NFL. I would say pressure situation. That was one of the biggest times in my life. So January 2017 and March 2017, my agent, Josh Apple with U.S. Sports, he put me in a house with 4 other NFL prospects, and we worked out at Chip Smith in Roswell, Georgia. And I say that was probably, because everybody says this, pro day training is when I was in the best shape of my life, January 2017 through March 2017, the best shape of my life. All you do is wake up every morning in a house. We have a chef that comes every afternoon and makes us food. You wake up every day at 9. You get there, you do your position training from 9 to 10. From 10:30, 11:30, you do your speed training. Then from noon to 2, you do your weightlifting. You do that every day, Monday through Friday, for a whole 2.5 months straight. And literally, at the end of the day, your agent's paying for that. So he's coming out of pocket because he believes in you, and you believe in. Of course, everybody believes in themselves at this point. So that was like best shape I've ever been in my life, and I was extremely prepared for it. Like I don't think I could be any more prepared than I was at it. There was a crazy situation that happened with Pro Day. Actually, me and Davion Belt. We were supposed to have our Pro Day at UCF, and which was great because Griffin, the cornerback for the Seahawks currently, he was coming out that same year. And he was supposed to be a top 32 pick. So we're supposed to have our pro day at UCF. So, I'm excited and everything because it's going to be basically all 32 scouts at that workout. They're going to have great facilities, great everything. And Coach Young and Coach Hughes talked to the UCF, head coach and said, hey, we have a great athlete, player of the year. We have another great athlete, first team all conference. We want to do our pro day at UCF. And he allowed us to. We were the only two people that didn't go to UCF that were going to be allowed to work out at UCF pro day. So, we're excited. Me and Davion be waiting for this day forever. It's going to be all 32 scouts there. It's going to be other, D1 athletes there. So, at the end of the day, if we show out better than them, we're getting looked at, not the UCF guys. So about a week before UCF Pro Day, UCF got a lot of calls from other small schools saying, hey, that's not fair. You're letting those Stetson guys in our Pro Day. So the head coach of UCF got frustrated. All the small schools are calling him, say, why are you letting the Stetson guys? Why are you letting the Stetson guys? And so UCF called Coach Hughes and said, hey, even the Stetson guys aren't allowed to come anymore. So last minute, I got pushed from UCF to Bethune a week before Pro Day. It went from 32 scouts in my Pro Day that were going to be a Pro Day at UCF, being only 8 scouts at Bone Cookman Pro Day.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow,
So,
that's a wild story.
like I said, it was certainly the most pressurized situation. And, at the end of the day, me and Coach Young talked about it. Who cares? 32 scouts, 8 scouts, got to put on the show. And I believe I did something along those lines to get picked up. So, but yeah, that was a crazy experience as well.
For sure. So you definitely performed in your pro day. And I remember watching your story the other day because they were showing in the later rounds of the draft highlights of you because then you thought you were going to get picked. And unfortunately, you didn't get picked, but you got picked up after. I mean, the whole draft, are you watching thinking that, there's a chance for you to get picked and then finally you don't? I mean, how were you feeling let down or were you like, okay, now's my time. I'm an underdog again. I got this now.
That was probably the only time I teared up in front of my boys. The only time ever I teared up in front of my boys. Going into the draft, I knew I wasn't going to get picked on day 1 or day 2. I knew I was a day three pickup. Agent, as I talked to my agent, it was a chance of me getting drafted. Because I also went to Atlanta's local day, which basically wherever you're from, they invite locals who are draft process. They invite you there. I didn't got invited to Atlanta's local day, so I went maybe a month before the draft. I went up there, did a little workout for him, sat down with the coach afterwards. So I'm saying this is my second workout and second workout for a team minus pro day and workout for a team that, they're liking me. So I'm like, okay, I know I have a chance. Agent says there's about a 75% chance of getting drafted. Me in my head, I said 75. That's a C. I got C's before, C not bad, it's passing. So I was like, in my head, I'm like, okay, that's a bet. So I was thinking, should I have a draft party kind of on Saturday on day 3? And everybody was like, yeah, you should, 75%. That sounds like a good chance. So I had a small draft party, friends, family, girl, all that, everybody coming to the house. And, just kept getting those calls. Teams kept calling my agent, Hey, we might take him here. We might take him here. It's round 6 now. And I'm just like, okay, I know I'm gonna get picked up at some point. It's all good. I'm gonna get that call. Get to round 7, 8. It's getting to round 7. Okay, I see that thing, that little clip on NFL Network. Everybody's like, turn the NFL Network. Oh my gosh, I'm about to get picked. Everybody going crazy. Oh, I'm about to get picked, bro. Oh no. And then I see they were just showing the clip of my highlights of people who can get picked, people who got picked. And I was like, wow. And then I just kept watching. I said, literally, everybody was around me looking for the next 15 minutes. I'm just looking. Now we on pick 25, and it's only that's 7 picks left. I'm like, oh my gosh, 7 picks left. And I didn't get picked, and I was like, that's okay. I'm gonna get an undrafted call. It's okay, I'm gonna get an undrafted call. Right after that, they start calling for undrafted free agents. They start calling, giving you money, asking you, giving you payment, saying basically, we're gonna sign you to this signing bonus, et cetera, et cetera. So the first call I get is Minnesota, and they're saying, hey, this is Minnesota, we're calling you, we want you to come down for rookie camp. I said, okay, what's the signing bonus? No, we don't want to bring you as undrafted, we want you to do the rookie tryout. And I was like, I had to speak with my agent about that. I don't think that. And I hung up the phone, and then I hung up the phone in the Vikings, whoever the scout was, and I called my agent, I said, bro, Josh, these folks talking about tryout. I ain't no tryout player. I'll let you know right now, I'm not no tryout player. And my agent was like, yeah, we know, yeah, don't talk no tryout. So it gets to be 30, 45 minutes after the draft. A lot of my friends are getting picked up. You know, a lot of people I train with are getting undrafted deals, signing bonuses. I'm just like, Josh, like, what's going on, bro? How I go from 75% getting drafted? Now all these teams, I had several teams. I had like 10 teams ask me to come try out, and I'm like, I'm not a tryout player. Like, I need to get signed. Like, I'm not trying out for it. And I finally got that call from Baltimore saying, hey, we want to sign you to as an undrafted free agent, but my signing bonus is only $1,500. I said, only $1,500. I said, all right, it's all I got. Literally, the only choice. If I want, I can get out by somebody else, or I can sign for $1,500. And I was like, well, I guess I'll be signing for $1,500. And it was a disheartening experience. At the same time, as long as I got my opportunity, I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? As long as I got my opportunity, I didn't care. It was kind of disheartening. I was like, man, me and my mom had set up all my trophies and everything I got throughout Stetson, like down there in the basement where we were watching. And I was looking at all of them. I was like, bro, I will burn all of these. Like, this doesn't matter at this point. Like, I didn't even get a call. But, you know, eventually, you know, like I said, an hour later, I got that call. And at the end of the day, like I said, as long as I get the opportunity, I don't care.
So you head up to Baltimore. And Drew, you got a question about his experience there with the Ravens?
Yeah, no, I was just interested to see, you know, can you talk to us a little bit about what rookie minicamp is? You know, how is it kind of like fall camp, or is it just completely different, or, you know, just kind of walk us through that?
So rookie minicamp, so this is before all the veterans get there. So you're going to have about 15 undrafted free agents. So you got the 7 people usually you draft. Then you got the 15 undrafted free agents. That's only about 22 people. You can't practice with 22 people. So you also have about 20 or 30 tryout players. And that's a tryout player. He's coming in. The only thing he can do is hopefully one of the undrafted players get cut. They cut them at the end of that week, and then the tryout player takes his spot on the roster. That's basically what a tryout player does. So he has to play better than one of the people they sign as undrafted free agents. So you're going in as an undrafted free agent. You usually got to show them you got speed, you can move, you are who they think you are. That's all you need to do. As a drafted player, you know, if you drafted first round, you don't even got to do rookie minicamp, to be honest. Like, they ain't gonna care. You know, you drafted first round, second round, third round, anyway. But rookie minicamp was definitely an eye opener. That's your first taste of NFL experience. But it's just rookies. These are all people your same age. These are all the people between 21 and 23. You know, they're all young. It's the first time the NFL coaches. You know, your first time doing anything like that. So it was a good experience. You know, there was a few undrafted players I know got cut right after that, and a couple of tryout players took their spot. But, you know, I think that my first real NFL experience, or first real that I know I'm in the NFL, is when, you know, Terrell Suggs and Joe Flacco walked through the locker room, and I was just like, and I'm literally in the locker right next to Terrell Suggs. I'm just like, damn, I'm really here, bro. Like, I'm really here. Like, that was my first feeling, like a feeling of being in the NFL right there. So, you know, that was a great experience. That was probably the biggest one.
So you showed out in Baltimore. I think I remember Andrew and I were watching against the Dolphins. You had a special team. Was it a punt, like fumble recovery or something like that? But like you made it one, or maybe it was kickoff return. It was a kickoff return.
Yeah.
Kickoff, yeah. And then that happened. And then I think like a week later, they cut you, right? Is that true?
It was 2 weeks later. 2 weeks
right.
later. So that Miami game was the second preseason game. I had a forced fumble. I had like 5 tackles. I had a forced fumble that Justin Tucker recovered on kickoff, and then I had another tackle on special teams. And, you know, special teams, at the end of the day, I knew special teams where I would make my hay, just because I went from playing college safety into an NFL linebacker. There's a lot of things I didn't know going into the NFL playing linebacker. I never try to make myself seem like, you know, people feel guilty or feel sorry for me, any sympathy or anything like that. But going to the NFL, not only did I have to change up how I do things in college, as in, you know, being a leader, as being on time, as, you know, being somebody the coaches respect, you know, only becoming an NFL pro, I had to learn how to become an NFL linebacker as well. I didn't know what a 3 technique was. I didn't know, you know, hitting the A-gap was. I played safety. I played deep safety, and if I came in the box, you know, I had one job, you know. So being an NFL linebacker was definitely a little bit harder. I think that's why I was a little bit behind the curve in Baltimore for the first, I would say, during the OTA period, the summer workout period. I was a little bit behind the curve just because it was very hard for me to not only pick up the playbook, but to pick up being an NFL linebacker, you know. And they don't slow down for anybody, and that's for sure.
Right. So after you got cut from the Ravens, are you like, what the heck, man? What else do I got to show and prove to finally have some job security here and be on a damn team? Was that your feeling, or?
Yes and no. So it's crazy just because people know that we went to a non-scholarship school. So at the end of the day, I got student loans. I did.
Right.
I did have student loans. Them boys paid off now.
Right.
But
There you go.
I did have student loans. So I put up a great game against Baltimore, against the Saints. My last preseason game, I had the most tackles in the whole NFL that week. I had like 13 tackles, and I only played 2 quarters. Against the Saints. So you come into the cut day. Basically, you come in there and they say, all right, it's a cut man. We call it the Grim Reaper. He's standing at the door. Hey, bro, can I see you? And bring your iPad with you. He'd be like, hey, you see that? You like, damn, got it. Damn, got him.
He gone.
That's usually how it is. And so that day, which is the day after the game, they didn't do that to me. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I might have made the roster just because of that good game I had. And then Coach Harbaugh sat down with me. John Harbaugh sat down with me, and he said, "Hey, right after practice, he said, hey, we love what you did. We just think you need some molding to do. So we're gonna release you, but we're gonna sign you back to practice squad. And we're gonna give you a little bit more than practice squad. So I think they were giving me at that time practice squad was making about $8,000 a week, something like that. So I went back in the locker room. I said, damn, I got cut, but at least I'm on practice squad. That's something. So I calculated. I was like, if I'm on practice squad for 16, 17 weeks and I make $8,000 a week, did I pay off my student loans at the end of it?
You got something left over.
I was like, I got something. I was like, damn, I'm gonna have to live in my mom's basement if I pay it all. I got no money left over. Shoot, and then I went back to the hotel that day. I packed up a little bit, and I was like, okay, I'll be here tomorrow. To sign my practice squad, letter of intent, basically. Like, I'm a great practice squad. And then that's when I got the call. So I always tell everybody this story because it's like the craziest story. So you go in the next day, you come into the building, it's everybody want to sign the practice squad. It's 10 of us. We all walk into this room. The coach is off that day. All you do is you see the contract guy. He walks in. He said, hey, you go upstairs, you sign your practice squad contract. He'll come in the room next. Hey, next person, go sign the practice. So we all 10 sitting in the back, just chilling, like, yeah, we're trying to practice squad. Hey, we about to live around here. I heard it's a nice place to live around there. We always talking normal. He said, hey, wait, Payne, come here. I said, what's up? He said, I got some good news and some bad news. I said, oh, man. He said, I said, good news and bad news. He said, the bad news is you're not going to be a Baltimore Raven. I'm like, oh, my gosh, they don't even want me on their practice squad? Jesus Christ. Like, that's crazy. He was like, good news is got claimed off waivers I said, oh, I did? So I just found out what claimed off waivers was back then and was saying, okay, basically somebody wants to pick me up and add me to their 53-man roster. I said, okay, like, they do? Okay, that's a bet. So, but the thing is, Baltimore didn't know who claimed me at that point. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I called my agent, hey, Josh, they said somebody claimed me. My agent, ecstatic because agents don't get paid practice squad money. Practice squad money goes right in your pocket.
Right.
So contract money, real contract money, of course, he gets his percentage of it.
Right.
Of course, every agent wants their, player to have contract money, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So I called my agent, hey, Josh, they said somebody picked me up our waivers. For real? I said, yeah, bro, they swear. And he didn't even know who I got picked up by. I'm like, oh my gosh, who did I get picked up by? And all of a sudden, he still can't find out, So 5 minutes later, I get a call from Jackson, random number and it said Jacksonville. I'm like, okay. He said, hey, Donald, this who is this? It's Tyler Wolf. This is Tyler Wolf. He's like the player personnel guy at the Jacksonville. Hey, this is Tyler Wolf. We want to bring you down. We just claimed you off waivers. We're gonna have a take an Uber to the airport and we'll pick you up later on today. And I was like, is that quick? Is that quick? I was like, all right, of course I'll be there. Of course, whatever. And then I literally called like everybody on my phone. I called my girl at that point. I called my mom. I called my family, and it was like, I think that single day was my happiest moment in football ever. That single day. Like if somebody said pressurized situation, pro day, my first NFL start, as in the happiest day of football. Like, so think about football when you're a child. Think about all the little championships y'all won, middle school championships, high school, making it to the state championship game, one of the best experiences of my life. That's in football, winning all the awards, having great moments with my boys, everything. That time we got stuck in the Renaissance Hotel in Orlando.
Yeah.
like stuff like that. That was a
Right.
great experience. Like I loved all of that. But literally, if you had to say my happiest moment in football was getting that call, saying you want to get signed. That was probably my happiest moment in football. And I'll always remember that day. I'll always remember who I talked to because it went from me adding up, because not only I was so happy because I've seen where it's taken me. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing where that call. I've been in Jacksonville for the last 3 years. I've seen where that call has taken me. So it's just surreal experience.
A lot of relief, yeah. So 2017 season was your first season, and that was the season that you guys made it to the AFC Championship against the Pats, right?
Correct.
And so that season you were mainly a special teams guy. I think you had some great plays on special teams. You had a bunch of like fumble recoveries and stuff like that. Andrew, you got a question about that AFC Championship game against the Pats?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just kind of thinking, preparing up for that moment, especially coming from Stetson. We weren't playing, I guess, in that many big games at that point. We were still kind of getting our feet.
Correct.
So I don't know how. I mean, at least myself, I don't know how you could wrap your head around the fact of going from these games, where we're playing at spec and there's not that many fans. Now the AFC Championship game
Against Brady.
Against Brady. And the next stop is the Super Bowl. So
Right.
I mean, kind of, what was your emotion, going into that?
I would say the game before I was maybe even a little bit more nervous because we would play Pittsburgh in the divisional round, and we had beat Pittsburgh earlier that year. But Pittsburgh, like I said, I played special teams, so Pittsburgh has a great special teams unit. Like we knew they had a great special teams unit. The first time we played. The second game, Pittsburgh, great fan base, stadium packed out, ended up winning the game 45-41, like great game, and it was just so surreal. I'm on the field like trying to tackle Antonio Brown, trying to, seeing Ben Roethlisberger run out into the field, Le'Veon Bell. That was probably one of the greatest games, all around because we won. Specifically, we didn't win the Patriots game, but that Patriots game, couldn't even hear myself think at some point. The fans were so loud and crazy. Because the thing is, nobody expected Jacksonville to be in that situation, that year. Nobody expected Jacksonville went from winning 4 games to taking Tom Brady down to the wire. So we're up 14-3 at halftime, and me and my boy, like, so the Patriots didn't have that good of a special teams unit. So we were whooping their ass on special teams, like all game long, whooping their ass. And so me and one of my good boys on special teams, we get in the locker room. I have a tackle on special teams so far. I've been pancaking my dude all game. I'm like, man, this is great. And we're up 14-3. I'm like, bro, this is my first year in the NFL. I'm about to go to the Super Bowl. Like, we just need to hold them from 11 points, and we're going to the Super Bowl. Like, that's crazy. I can't believe it. Jacksonville, we go to the Super Bowl. And then, that bad man TB came out, and it was over with, man. He came out slinging that thing. Amendola, Gronk, throwing it all over the place. Deion Lewis, man, that was a crazy game. And then it came down to the wire, and it just, and the league had to let the Patriots win. You know how it is. The league had to let them win. We don't got that many fans. There's Patriots fans everywhere.
Did you dap him up after the game, Brady or Gronk or any of those guys?
Nah, I think I just dabbed up Deion Lewis. A couple guys. They had me on national television with a little tear coming out my eye. I was like, man, they got me right now. But I was like, that was a great experience. Like, and the thing is, I didn't know how special it was until I got back in the locker room and I seen all the other vets, them tearing up and crying. Because in my situation, this is my first year in the NFL, and I'm already close to the Super Bowl. And in my head at this point, I'm like, shit, this can happen every year. This can happen next year and everything. But I saw the vets tearing up. That's what got me, is that these people have been playing their whole entire career. This man is 9 years in the league, first time going to the playoffs.
Right, Puslesny, I think it was his first time in the playoffs.
Who?
Paul Puslesny?
Exactly. His first time in the playoffs, and he's GOAT linebacker, and his first time in the playoffs, and he was a couple plays away from going to the Super Bowl. So that's when I realized, I was like, okay, what I was just in was surreal. And I didn't know it was that surreal until I seen other people react to it. I'm like, man, I know they tell you got crying and stuff, but it's my first year in the league. I can do this plenty more years. No, there's some people who've been in the league, made millions of dollars, millions, right. Plenty of millions, but ain't nothing like stepping on the field. I've heard it's nothing like stepping on the field in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
so
that's nuts. Definitely something you always remember. So then the next year, another special teams role, and then Jacksonville actually cuts you, and I know we talked about that in the locker room after your first start. It was the Bucks. You told me how you were just sitting on the couch, and then you got the call. I mean,
2018 or 2019?
2019, the first season, this past season.
This past season, yeah.
Because 2018 was another special teams year, right? I mean, you got hurt,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, I got hurt halfway. 2018, another special teams year. Got hurt week 9, came back week 16 and played the last 2 games. So
right, and then
still
2019 is your first start. It's not until what, 10 games into the season?
I played 9 games this year, but my first start, I played 3 regular games. So my first start was week 10. Yep.
That was against the Bucks, right?
Correct.
I remember that game. I remember you sacked Jameis Winston, and I was going crazy in the press box. They were telling me to relax. But how was that? I mean, you just sacked Jameis Winston. You're performing here against the Bucks, in-state rival. I mean, you must have been going nuts there. I mean, all the Duval fanatics are going crazy. Who's Donald Payne? Now they know. I mean, how does that feel?
Felt pretty good.
Yeah.
Nah, but for real, like I said, like it's like some people, like I be telling people, I was saying you have to be so honed in on your craft to a certain point. Like I said, that whole year I was sitting. I was early. I was in practice squad with the Ravens at the beginning of 2019. They released me, so I'm back at home for the next 8 weeks, 2 months, watching football on Sundays, just like looking like, man, I should be out there. And all of a sudden, I get this call from Jacksonville saying, hey, they want you to come in for a workout. I said, the same team, people that cut me, I was like, clearly they didn't want me at that point, but now, and it's just like you got to be so owned in your craft, and you have to be so resilient in certain aspects, because I went from being on the couch, not knowing if I'll play again until next season, into them asking me to be on the team, and then 2 weeks later, I have a starting job, starting in an NFL game. You know, that's like in a movie. That's like some movie type stuff. Like literally sitting on my couch playing video games, and then 3 weeks later, I'm starting an NFL game, telling a person, Calais Campbell, who's making $20 million this year, hey, slide your butt to the left. I told you slide to the left. You know, no, move to the right, move to the right. You know, stuff like that. Like that was probably, you know, you can like I said, you can't even write that in a book. You know, you have that's a movie right there. So like it was definitely crazy and surreal. You know, sacking Jameis was great. I mean, I wish we got crazy as that first touchdown was sort of and kind of my fault. I'm gonna just say it was my fault. The first touchdown, didn't let up a touchdown the rest of the game, and we barely didn't come up. Gave up 18 points to the number one yardage offense in the league. Number one yardage offense in the league gave up 18 points my first start, which was pretty amazing, pretty crazy, you know. And that sack was definitely like super highlight of my year, you know. It was one more thing that was a highlight of my year, but that sack was pretty good too.
Did you say anything after? You suck? Keep throwing picks?
No, I ain't talk no mess to him. I was like, I ain't got to that point where I can start talking mess. I ain't started talking mess until probably the last game of the season. But that was my first start. Let me ease on to it, you know. Let me get through it. I don't need to talking mess and then they throw a deep one on my head, you know.
Andrew's got a question about the crap talking in the NFL, right?
Yeah, no, well, so Josh and I were talking about your mic'd up that you posted on your social media, and just seeing, you know, you started talking trash out there in Oakland, and I think everyone knows the fans out, and you know, they're a different breed out there. You know, they're not afraid to let you have it.
Oh, not at all.
Experiencing, you know, going against them, and then also it seems like, you know, and we've all tackled somebody before, but it just sounds harder in the NFL. I don't know. So like we were just thinking, you know, what was probably the hardest hit you've dealt out so far? Have you know, gotten licked and like, all right, that was good?
Well, before this year, you know, on special teams, everybody's kind of lean. They could be big, but they're not. You don't have big linemen on special teams and stuff like that. So, that Oakland game when I was mic'd up, I'm glad, and I'm so thankful they didn't put that on my mic'd up. But Richie Incognito, y'all know who that is, you know. Yeah. Richie, you know, got a hold of me in between my shoulder pads. And once a lineman at that point gets you in the NFL, he's not 280. He's 340. He's 340. I'm 230 soaking wet. I'm 230, 232. As soon as he gets a hold, he's 120 pounds heavier. As soon as he gets his hands in there, he can do whatever he wants. And so I'm trying to rip off. I'm trying to get off, make the tackle, make him look good on film, you know, trying to rip off. just pancakes me straight on the ground, puts his helmet under my chin, and purposely tries to like run me into the ground, like some Richie Incognito stuff, basically. And then that's when I was like, and that was probably the hardest thing, his helmet right under my chin. I was like, man. But I did have a really hard hit against Kenny Vaccaro against the Titans on a crapback block. I got fined a good amount of money for that one, but that was ugly. No more crapback blocks. It hurt him though. I got a good lick, but you can't hit people like that in the NFL. Trust me.
The fines and all that, and then getting cut and re-signed in practice squad and all that. I mean, how quick did you realize that the NFL is just straight business, all about money?
Not even get the sign and recut. Probably the fine system. Like, you know, I got a face mask. I literally face mask. Face mask is a inadvertent thing that happens in football all the time. You know, inadvertent face masks in college and high school. I probably grabbed thousands of face masks throughout my football career. I didn't know a face mask was worth $10,000. I didn't know that until I in the league. $10,000. $10,000. I was just like, wow.
That's the semester at Stetson.
It took $10,000. The thing is, it's crazy because I'm a finance major, so I think about what can be used with money so much. And I just think about what the hell could I use with $10,000? And it's so much I can say off the list.
Bro, that's
like,
a down
ridiculous.
payment on a house.
I'm like, oh my God. I'm
That's
like,
crazy.
I could have $10,000 more dollars to splurge on myself this off season. But I wanted to grab that man's face mask. So guess what? I won't be grabbing no face mask next year. Trust me on that one. I'm gonna make sure I don't. Trust me.
Yeah, that's nuts. So now, DP, coronavirus time. So you're just training in quarantine, basically, right? Just getting bigger, faster, stronger.
But every single player, that's all you can do. Nobody, unless you had off-season surgery, you're not allowed at the facility. So any regular player who's not rehabbing from a surgery is not allowed in the facility. So everybody's on their own working out. Everybody's, you know, hopefully they have a home gym. Hopefully they have a gym that's still open, you know, or some place to train is still open. You know, there's a park here up the street, you know, I still train at. My apartment complex has a gym I can still train. I can still work out at. You know, so everybody's trying to get it out the mud right now. Everybody's trying to different things. You know, all the rich athletes, of course. Cam Newton, of course, he has videos out. He has a gym in his house, of course. Cam Newton, Tom Brady, of course, he has a gym in his house. You know, but you know, players in the same situation I am. You know, I don't have a gym in my house. You know,
Right.
like, so everybody's just trying to find that way and that avenue to, you know, stay strong and fast. Because me and my agent were speaking about it. Basically, when everything gets back going, it's not going to be, okay, now y'all can start training for a couple weeks. No, snap, get back in the facility, start working your ass off. That's how it's going to be. It's not going to be any gradual period. As soon as they say, hey, everything's good, y'all can go back to playing sports, guess what? They're going to ask us to come in and get back to working. Ain't no off time or anything like that. So
Right.
it's time to go to work.
For sure. So we got some non-football related questions. We know you're from Atlanta in the Georgia
Correct.
area. So I'm going to ring off some food questions and some other questions, and you tell me which one's better, all right?
Gotcha.
All right. So Chick-fil-A or Waffle House?
Waffle House.
All right. PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation, even though I got both. Man.
Fortnite or Call of Duty?
Oh, man.
Oh, COD all the way.
All right. Living by the beach or living more by the land? You living by the beach or in the land? You like water or no water?
Being in Jacksonville, I'm by the water now, so by the water.
Moe's or Chipotle?
Chipotle.
There you go. Andrew,
Yes,
you
sir.
got any? Andrew's got a funny one. Andrew, what is yours?
Well, this is just a common question. I mean, do you wash your apples?
Yeah, of course. That's dirty.
You got to.
Not with
Okay,
soap,
yeah,
though.
I
You
guess-
mean just with water, right?
Yeah, just with
Oh,
water.
yeah, I ain't washing it with no
like,
soap
wow.
or nothing.
No. It's just, just interesting to ask because some people don't. They just go right in and.
I mean, I just feel like it's a whole,
I mean,
I feel like when you grab the apple out the store, like, there's a whole nother layer that you can't see. You need to wash off. I feel like if I eat that apple, I can just taste some stuff on it. I just need to wash it off real quick, you know? Real
There
quick.
you go. Donald Payne washes his apples. You heard it here first. All right, DP. We appreciate you, man. Thank you for checking in with us, and I'm sure we'll check in with you in a couple months once the season starts wrapping up, once all this craziness is over. But we appreciate your time, man, really.
No doubt, I appreciate it, boys. Thanks for having me on. You know, anytime I can speak a little bit about the journey, man. Journey was great. You know, journey's still going on too. So, you know, anytime I can speak about it, it's always helpful.
For sure, DP. Yeah, man, we'll check in soon and
Definitely.
have a safe time training and getting bigger, faster, and stronger. We're all rooting for you, brother.
I appreciate it, man. You know, Stetson proud, baby.
There we go. All right, DP.
All right, no doubt.